Hey, what is up? It is Friday, the 15th of January. Welcome to episode 45 of Player Life, where I am continuing to call out the hypocrisies of the world around us and the realities of what is actually going on. Because if you are looking at this a TV day in day out, you are never actually going to hear the truth. See that thing behind me, that screen behind me? It's used to indoctrinate and control people. And like I said, it is used. It's used over a long period of time. It's the boiling frog effect. So this starts early in people's lives. Like people, you know, families, kids are born and they're sat in front of a TV where they have no choice about what they see. Everything that comes out of your TV is manufactured, so it's all designed to control. um I think, and since people started moving away from TVs, started using the internet, especially millennials and the current generation, they've had to crack down even harder on basically trying to control the internet. And that's what's happening more and more. You're seeing more and more people get censored uh, for things for opinions that they're writing. For trying to disseminate the truth, you will get purged from polite society. And it's not, it's going to get more and more. Like the Chinese block Google, Facebook, YouTube. You know, um, in the West, it's companies like Facebook, Google, Twitter that actually block certain ideas, certain opinions that don't fit their narrative, their progressive narrative. I've also come to the realization that it's important to pick your battles when you get into arguments with people, um, or you should choose what battles to fight, because you can waste a lot of time getting into arguments online with normies. um you're not it'll be ultimately like speaking to a brick wall. Some people are so indoctrinated, they're not willing to change their opinions, or change what they think when they're faced with information that contradicts whatever they believe. I like to think that I'm willing to change my opinions with the information that comes to me. I'm not steadfast in my beliefs. I just go on truth and facts and evidence. I'm not interested in I don't. That's why I don't. It's not um, it's not like a religion to me. It's basically, I'm only interested in finding out what is actually going on in the world. I'm not interested in I don't have an agenda, but we can clearly see that a lot of people do have, they're indoctrinated with a certain belief, and they're not willing to change those beliefs. And it's easy to get stuck in pointless arguments with people online about really stuff that's not really gonna make your life any better. It's also good not to be stuck in an echo chamber, but to have your beliefs. It's obviously good to have your beliefs or your opinions challenged, but you know if it's someone who just isn't like willing accept what when you talk about facts and reality, then don't waste your time. Um, I've caught myself doing that, recently, getting into arguments with blue pill normies on Facebook. Sometimes I post stuff up on my Facebook, just to trigger people. And it can be fun, but not even to trigger people, but just to, like, you know spread some facts, some facts that might trigger people. Basically, I don't do it specifically to trigger people, but just um but also that can be kind of a waste of time too. It's almost like I'm wondering, why do I even do that? Why do I respond to people that you don't respond with logic, that just respond with emotion? These people, it's just something I caught myself doing. I think more people should be, aware of. I think, what I think I saw something Zuby wrote online on Twitter. What was it? It's I think I can't remember exactly what it went like, but it was something like it's foolish to always give your opinion, but it's cowardice to never give your opinion. So I mean, it can be foolish to constantly, give your opinion to people who don't, aren't willing to, listen, or or just, it's like, you know you're trying to convert people that can't be converted, basically. But on the other hand, it's cowardice not to give your opinion anytime. uh, and I think there's way too much cowardice at the moment. you know I don't think the world would be in such a mess, as it is, or there'd be so much false narratives going around it if people spoke up more. Because there's so many people that are out there that would just never speak up. They never say, even though they know they would agree with a lot of red pill um ideas. A lot of people would actually agree with them, but they're just too cowardly to actually come forth and agree with them. It's funny because even blue pill friends that I grew up with, they're it's funny because when I was saying earlier that I would be writing, sharing some facts that would obviously trigger people about the world we live in, about various things, about politically. I would get old friends that would DM me and say, "Oh man, like you're so brave, like oh my god." And it's funny because it's so cowardly. It's so cowardly that they have to DM me to tell me. Like, these people would never like anything that I would post, or anything like that. But yet they would DM me and say, "Oh man, I totally agree with you." Like, and this is the type of cowardice that actually goes on in a lot of people, like a lot of people. Another tweet I saw, Zuby. I agree with a lot of what Zuby writes about up on Twitter. And he said the real pandemic is cowardice, and it really is. It's actually a pandemic of cowardice. People are really, like, pathetically cowardly. Um, I never used to think like that. I never realized, and I really never really thought that like this before before this year, like before last year, before 2020. I think I was more, I didn't think as lowly of humanity, and it sounds very negative, but 2020 was really, like, unfortunately, like, you know eye opening in a very, like, negative way. I mean, I just saw that most people are just very, you know, easily controlled cowards. And like, yeah, it's just like I said, a lot of people actually, know what's actually going on in the world, but but they're just too scared to be ostracized by society. And that's why people can be ostracized, because people don't speak up enough. um it's just but I don't know, but it's human nature. People just want to stay in their safe little bubbles, and not not have confrontations. They want to sit back and just live that comfortable, easygoing life. But ultimately, it just gets worse and worse when people do that, because the elites can push through even more and more draconian legislation to make our lives all more less free. But yeah, I don't know. Today's that was a bit of a rant, but today's episode, I was going to talk about how saturated actually the sexual marketplace is for with women. With I mean, sex is actually, it's never been cheaper, but just because we've become so, in the West, sex has just become just this very cheap commodity, where girls like finger their buttholes for $3.99 a month, selling like subscriptions, or just like guys can go and subscribe and just see girls that they grew up with, or I mean, it's such a common thing now for women to actually make money doing that. And a lot of them, I think a lot of women, when they get into it, they think that it's going to be a lot easier than it is. And a lot of them actually just end up making maybe pocket money at best. It's not going to be enough for them to live off. So because they're not, they don't, they just think they're looking for the easy route, basically. And it doesn't actually, it doesn't work out that way. They end up like selling themselves online, or and not making enough money to pay the bills. And it's just I don't know. It's very naive of them, and the reason that is because, like I said, it's saturated. It's a saturated market. So when you flood the market with options, then the price goes. It's like inflation. The price goes down and down. So it's your chicks are selling like subscriptions for like $3.99 a month. I mean, obviously you need like hundreds of subscribers in order to like make a living off. And if there's millions of like, I would like to know like how many, you know there's OnlyFans, but then there's also like hundreds of other sites too. So you could be talking about millions of accounts, like millions of females, like selling themselves, like selling their subscriptions, selling their sex videos, selling pornography online. So the price goes down and down. It's harder to get guys to subscribe, and this is coming more and more. This is becoming more and more of reality. You can see it. And I just came across an article in the New York Times. I haven't actually had the chance to read it, but I don't know. I was gonna give it a look on this episode. Let me check it out. Let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, so we have the New York Times. I do not, I think it's a pretty woke publication. Jobless, selling news online, and still struggling. OnlyFans, a social media platform that allows people to sell explicit photos of themselves, has boomed during the pandemic. But competition on the site means many won't earn much. So yeah, I mean, it's there you have it. Like it's saturated market. I mean, it's I know multiple girls personally, you know, chicks that I grew up with, or just girls I've met, from around, that have accounts on OnlyFans, and you know, it's just very, you know, socially acceptable almost for women to do this now. So that's why it has become so so widespread. Um, just gonna collapse that. Yeah, so written by Gillian Friedman. I actually don't know what her take's going to be on this, but we'll see. Savannah Benavides stopped working at her job as a medical biller in June to take care of her 2-year-old son after his daycare shut down. Needing a way to pay her bills, she created an account on OnlyFans, a social media platform where her users sell original content to monthly subscribers, and started posting photos of herself nude or in lingerie. So yeah, I mean, obviously, a single mom. That's what happens when when the state takes the place of the husband, or the man in the marriage. The you know you end up having a lot of single mothers, because men obviously have kind of given up on the idea of well, a lot of men have given up on the idea, and women too, on the idea of marriage. It's just not very appealing, even to blue pill guys. Even to blue pill normies, it's not a very appealing deal. I mean, it's not actually, it's not something that most guys would want to get involved in. Especially with living with someone who thinks, with the spread of feminism, where most women see men as the enemy, or as a competition rather than a partner. It's obviously, you don't really want to share a life with someone like that. You don't want to share, you don't even really want to be around someone like that, so let alone live with them, and make a family. So it's just there's women end up being single mothers. I even think they're probably, I wouldn't say lucky, but even having a kid is probably getting much more, is getting rarer, basically. I would say, because with the how abortion has been promoted as such a hip and available thing, that even, I'd say, even women giving birth will decline a lot more. And I would say, I don't think I don't think it's good that women are single mothers, or go, and or never give birth. But I think it's probably worse for women to never give birth than to be a single mother. It's probably actually better for her to actually give birth. So, because actually never having experienced, like, giving birth is actually probably worse, because once that door is shut, it's shut for eternity. And I think most women will not give birth in the current generation, upcoming generation, especially my generation, like millennial women. They're going to miss that boat for sure. um yeah, Miss Benavides, 23, has made 64,000 since July, enough not just to take care of her own bills, but to help family and friends with rent and car payments. I mean, that's a hefty amount. I wonder what it involved. Like, it probably, I don't know I don't know what's involved in making like that. Like, it obviously depends on how hot the girl is, um, or what kind of thing she caters to. online, but it's probably not that difficult. So it's more money than I have ever made in any job, she said. I have more money than I know what to do with. So I don't know what, they're starting off saying that, it is actually very lucrative. So let me see. Lexi Exenberger was hoping for a similar windfall when she started an OnlyFans account in November. A restaurant worker in Billings, Mont. Miss Exenberger, 22, has been laid off 3 times during the pandemic and was so in need of cash by October that she had to drop out of dental hygiene school. After donating plasma and doing odd jobs, she still didn't have enough to pay her bills. So, at the suggestion of some friends, she turned to OnlyFans. She has made only about 500 so far. Well, I mean, you'd have to wonder what kind of, she probably went on it expecting that, it'll be like super easy. She just takes some like new like selfies and it's going to be easy money basically, without realizing that you have to actually market or sell to get customers, get people to subscribe. And I guess I can't imagine it would be too hard. Like I said, it depends on how hot she is, but obviously she's if this is her, I don't know. um so that's her. She's a, like, in my opinion, in my estimation, she's like a, I don't know, it's hard to tell from the photo, but I would honestly, she's below average. I mean, she's like she's a 3 or a 4. I mean, I have to see the full package, but from the face, I mean, it doesn't look like, she's, I don't know what her type of photos she was selling, but yeah, she made $500. I mean, the she's not a looker basically. And just being brutally honest, like, I mean, it is what it is. um Lexi lost her restaurant job 3 times and had to quit. Yeah, so we've been there. OnlyFans, founded in 2016 and based in Britain, has boomed in popularity during the pandemic. As of December, it had more than 90 million users and more than 1 million content creators, up from 120,000 in 2019. The company declined to comment for this article. So yeah, obviously 1 million content creators, and then you're not talking. That's only OnlyFans. There's obviously tons of other like content websites. Subscription based websites. Cam like only cams. I don't know, all these cam websites where people, where women, do cam work and get guys to pay them a lot of money and stuff. So it's obviously a lot more than 1 million. That's only one website. So yeah, and there's obviously a huge market for it amongst men, especially, because men are obviously it's interesting because men actually, they can easily access, with access to the internet, you can access like, unbelievable vast quantities of free pornography. Like, we're talking vast quantities, like unbelievably easy to access. But it just shows like men actually, they do want something more real, and they'll they at least want the girl, they want it to be live or something. They don't want something that's been pre-recorded, or they kind of want it to be a little bit unique. And that's obvious because, I mean, it's obvious because people are using these websites. I mean, like I said, you have access to vast quantities of free materials. So, but men, I guess, you know they want, actually, they want it to be kind of genuine, even though it's not, even though they're paying for these chicks, and these chicks don't give one little bit of shit about them. They don't give one fuck, and they'll pretend they do, because that's what, they're being paid to do, and that's how they get the guys to cough up more money. but these girls wouldn't piss on these guys if they were on fire. Like, they'd probably despise them, really. Probably really think they're really pathetic pieces of shit. And they wouldn't be wrong in a lot of instances, like, the kind of simpery that goes on, like guys, paying, vast amounts of money for no reason. Uh, and they do actually. I mean, if girls actually know how to sell themselves, if they put in a bit of work, I imagine it's not, it's easy enough to make decent money, even if they're average. But she's obviously, hey, brutally honest, she's below average. I mean, maybe that's average in Western countries, but she looks a bit chubby. I mean, you get the idea. Um, with millions of Americans unemployed, some like Miss Benavides and Miss Exenberger are turning to OnlyFans in an attempt to provide for themselves and their families. The pandemic has taken a particularly devastating toll on women and mothers, wiping out parts of the economy where women dominate: retail businesses, restaurants, and healthcare. I don't know. I haven't looked at the statistics, but I imagine it's affected both, men just as much. I actually, I don't know. I don't know enough about the statistics, but it's obviously the New York Times, so it's obviously, women more affected. It's obviously always going to be like minorities more affected, women more affected. It's never going to be men, or especially not white men, or it's always going to be, women more affected. Suicide rates in men skyrocket. Women most affected. Men die more from coronavirus. Women more affected. Stuff like this. Um, you get the idea. It's just kind of that narrative they go through with, women, the perpetual victimhood. They always want that victimhood. Um, so they don't need no man, but then when the pandemic comes around, oh yeah, yeah, we're all the good men, we're all the good men. Women, all this, women are independent, badass, all this stuff. Oh, but yeah, then we're most affected when apparently most affected. Yeah, I highly doubt that. Um, I'd like to know where she got her sources. Um, a lot of people are migrating to OnlyFans out of desperation, said Angela Jones, an associate professor of sociology at the State University of New York at Farmingdale. These are people who are worried about eating. They're worried about keeping the lights on. They're worried about not being evicted. What happened to the badass independent woman, don't need no man, like, really, like, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, kind of thing. Apparently, it's not so good when the shit hits the fan. um you know I don't know. It's and it goes back to the thing where it's the whole woke idea where they're using, apparently they're only using these websites but out of desperation. So it's like, it's like there there's no actual, they're not using these websites because it's easy money, and we all know that's originally why they use the websites. Why they heard that it probably was very, I don't know, it's I'm sure it's still, compared to a man basically cannot make money from making an OnlyFans, even, unless he's like like porn star level type guy. And even then I don't think he'd make like close to as much as a woman would make. um but the perpetual victim mentality, continues. Um, nice try, Governor says. I'm starting to realize the internet is the way to make real money. Well, I would agree with you there. The internet is, there's just such a market out there on the internet. I mean, you've such a you've access to like billions of people. So if you can tap into a tiny percentage of that, then damn, you're gonna do well. Uh, Nice try, Gomez says jobs are peasant pay. Yeah, I mean, lots of companies pay people like peasants, and they just rip people off. Very true. Um, you know, Continue with this article. But for every person like Miss Benavides who is able to use OnlyFans as her primary source of income, there are dozens more like Miss Exenberger who hope for a windfall and end up with little more than a few $100 and worries that the photos will hinder their ability to get a job in the future. Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, you know, so they go in, expecting to just be able to take a few selfies and milk guys for their money, and and that's what they would do. Like they'll milk guys for their money. Like they'll send these guys love messages, trying to pretend like they care, but and I'm not standing up for guys that use these sites either. I mean, these guys are just as bad. I mean, I don't know what I mean. They might even be worse because they're like perpetuating it. And they're like simping for these women that you really don't give a shit about them. Like really, like I really mean, they would not piss on them if they were on fire. Um, but it is, guys are just desperate, I guess, because we are, and we know why this is because women have more agency over their sex lives than ever before. So they choose, most women view 80% of guys as unattractive. Like they don't think they're attractive. So they're only choosing 20% of men. And that leaves a lot of dudes, desperate for female attention, and they're willing to pay for that online. And some guys are willing to pay a lot of money. Some guys, they'll just keep dishing out the cash because they just desperately want female attention. So it continues. It is already an incredibly saturated market, Miss Jones said of explicit content online. Got to agree with that. The idea that people are just going to open up an OnlyFans account and start raking in dough is really misguided. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously more to it than just taking a few selfies. I mean, there has to be some element of, I mean, I'm guessing females would have to like they'd have to have some cater to some kind of fetish to like latch onto a market because yeah, like I said, there's obviously hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of other accounts online doing the exact same thing, trying to milk guys for money. So if they don't have something a little bit, unique, then it's not going to cut it. You're not going to get guys to, subscribe to your account. But they're just obviously looking for the easy route. It continues. The most successful content creators are often models, porn stars, and celebrities who already have large social media followings. They can use their online platforms to drive followers to their OnlyFans accounts, where they offer exclusive content to those willing to pay a monthly fee, even personalized content in exchange for tips. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut of any pay. Some creators receive tips through mobile payment apps, which aren't subject to that cut. Miss Benavides earns most of her money this way. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I guess people that would make the most money would already have some kind of online presence, um, unless they're really hot. I mean, if a girl is hot, you know, she can easily, garner like thousands and thousands of of followers on Instagram. And I've heard from apparently, if you have an audience of 100 people, you will you will be able to sell to 2% of your audience. So I mean, if it works like that. So the more people that are following their Instagram, the more they're going to be able to make. They're going to be able to direct onto their OnlyFans. But it obviously, like I said, these chicks probably think it's just going to be easy money. They don't necessarily have any kind of artistic, like, creative, eyes. So they start trying to do this OnlyFans thing with maybe a couple of hundred followers. Maybe, this chick probably had around maybe 1,000 followers. She's probably just a regular girl. She had like maybe 1,000 followers, on Instagram, and she thought, she probably didn't even have that. Her photos probably weren't even that sexy. They probably weren't alluding to anything, sexual, or maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But my point is, she probably just thought, oh, I'm just gonna make an OnlyFans, and I'm just gonna make, I heard, this girl made like 60 grand in a couple of months. I think I could do that too. Well, first of all, you're not hot. Second of all, you've no idea what you're talking about. Um, but yeah. Um, as it continues. But many of the creators who have joined the platform out of dire financial need do not have large social media followings or any way to drum up consistent business. Exactly. You know, she probably didn't even have that many. Probably just had a normal account, like normal Instagram account. Thought, I'm gonna get easy money. I don't really want to work hard. I just want to stay at home, just like take some nudes and like upload them to an already saturated market, and think that she's gonna get like thousands of dollars a month or whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know. Um, it's funny. Uh, El Morocco of West Palm Beach, Florida, FLA, was laid off from her job as an office manager in July. Her unemployment checks don't cover her 1,600 monthly rent, utility bills, and food costs, so she joined OnlyFans in November. But Miss Morocco, 36, had no social media presence to speak of when she joined the platform, and has had to gain subscribers one by one by posting pictures of herself on Instagram and Twitter, and following up with people who like and comment on her posts, encouraging each one to subscribe to OnlyFans. It's more challenging and time consuming than she expected, and less financially rewarding. Exactly. She's 36. She thought she was going to get easy money, and then she finds out, she's entering a market where there are hot 18-year-old girls with OnlyFans accounts. Not only are there hot 18-year-olds with OnlyFans accounts, there are thousands and thousands with hotter girls, younger girls, and probably just better at marketing themselves, probably have a better, just, and 36 definitely, has obviously hit the wall by that point. um you know it's just like there's such delusion, like there's such an insane amount of almost, entitlement too, just to be expected to be able to make, like money like that, just milk guys, and she's probably, is the I'm guessing like these kinds of women are the ones that are sharing these kind of, female empowerment posts on Twitter and Facebook and all their social medias, and stuff like free the nipple, like stop sexualizing the female form, but then at the same time they're trying to sell their sexuality. It's just it's like fine. I have nothing against, like, I don't even like have any moral qualms about women joining OnlyFans. I'm not, I'm not trying to, disparage them even. Like, but I'm just, I just, I just like to call like out hypocrisy when I see it. Just it's bewildering. You know, um, it's a full time job on top of your full time job looking for work, she said. Fans want to see you posting daily. You're always churning. You're always taking pictures to post. What do you expect? Like, what do you think guys are subscribing for? It's like, of course, guys want to see content. Like, like, why else? What, they're just gonna donate money to like charity? They want to see naked photos. That's what it's about. Like, what do you mean? Like, what guys expect? Such entitlement. It's such an insane level of entitlement. Like, of course, guys want to see pictures. What the hell? Like, they're signing up. They're subscribing to see visual pictures. You know, I said, oh my God, I have to take pictures. I have to take more news. Like, while sitting at home. Yeah, I mean, that's what the site's about. What do you want? Um, she has made just 250 on the platform so far, despite sometimes spending upward of 8 hours a day creating, posting, and promoting her content. You know, I don't know. Like how there's not enough information here to know how much work does she actually put in, like how much, I mean, it's just funny. Miss Morocco also worries that her presence on the platform will make it more difficult for her to be hired for traditional jobs in the future. So this goes back to like chicks wanting it both ways. It's like they want to, they want to be a elementary school teacher, and they want to, post, be porn stars as well, or be, so it's like, but we all know it's like, if the school, or if, say this woman went to a job, uh, to be an elementary school teacher, a job interview, and the person interviewing her finds out that she's, you know has an OnlyFans presence, or is like has erotic material, a lot of erotic material online, and if he or she mentioned that, this, women would easily be able to sue, the school for sexual harassment or whatever. I think I've actually seen like stories like that where, um so, society is actually like supporting these kinds of women, like, to do this. New laws and regulations are being, made every day to, to give women the upper hand or the advantage. I mean, I talked yesterday in last night's stream about, how my secondary school teachers, when I went to an all boys school, they used to dress like really well. A few of them, Miss Rogers, one of them, I always remember. Looking back, she used to dress so inappropriately for high school, for an all boys school. Um, just really revealing, like tight skinned, clothes, high heels. It was hot. I mean, it drove us wild, but it was very frustrating, very distracting. And like, no one, none of the. I'm sure some of the other staff member, or thought it was also inappropriate, but they couldn't say anything, because in this day and age, especially in Western countries, you say anything to a female about how she dresses, you're gonna get, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble for like sexual harassment. Even if the teachers, even if the woman in question is actually, she's the one that is actually being inappropriate, like, wearing really revealing clothes in an all male school. Um, but if anything, nothing really makes that much sense in Western societies anymore. But yeah, so I mean, I disagree with the fact that she thinks, it will make her it may make it more difficult for her to get traditional jobs. I think the laws are on the side of females much more, so I don't actually think it would be. I think, and she could probably sue them if they mention that to her. It continues. If you're looking for a 9 to 5, they might not hire you if they find out you have an OnlyFans. She said, they may not want you if they know you're a sex worker. I mean, it depends on what kind of job it is. But like I said, I disagree with that. I mean, if they find out, they might. If they were smart, they might just not say anything and say, "Oh, we went with a different candidate," and not mention that it's because she was a sex worker. But a lot of people are idiots. So um, anyway, continues. The digital sex work can give the illusion of safety and privacy. Content creators can get paid without having to interact with clients in person, but that doesn't mean there aren't risks. I mean, obviously, there's risks about putting yourself online. It's just gonna be it's just that's the way it is. Harzikos in the house. What is up? What is good, bro? Um, so it continues. Online sex work is much more appealing alternative to many people than going on the streets or selling direct sexual services, said Barb Brents, a professor of sociology at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. That said, anybody getting into this kind of work needs to be aware that there are dangers. Obviously, there are dangers when you're selling your sexuality online to really desperate simp men, that probably haven't had sex in years, you know. These are not you probably a lot of the guys that probably use these websites as subscribe are probably very unstable themselves, spending a lot of money, spending a lot of time investing in these women, thinking that you get a lot of creeps thinking that they're dating these women. I'm criticizing. I'm like, I'm not only, criticizing these woke, OnlyFans chicks. It's also the simps, the hordes of simps that enable this kind of shit show to take place. And like I said, I don't even care that these women do this, but it's just calling out the hypocrisy. Last April, a mechanic in Indiana lost her job at a Honda dealership after management learned she had an OnlyFans account. Creators can be the target of doxing, a form of online harassment in which users publish private or sensitive information about someone without permission. In December, the New York Post published an article about a New York City medic who was using OnlyFans to supplement her income. The medic believed that the article, published without her consent, would damage her reputation and get her fired from her job. It's funny when I think this is called gaslighting, or when people on the left accuse, because I always associate doxing with people on the left that will do it to people on the right for having far right opinions, try and get them fired, try and get them get their we all know this is true, that the people who do the doxing are the ones on the left doing it to people. These OnlyFans chicks are not the ones getting doxed. It's the other way around. I'm not saying it has never happened. I'm sure there are instances, but we all see this social media purge on people that lean to the right. You can it's far easier for people on the right to get in trouble for having a far right opinions, or sexist, misogynist opinions. 100%. It's just definitely they're the ones that perpetuate that kind of nonsense. Trying to get people criminalized for opinions and whatnot, hate speech. It's list goes on. It's just the utter hypocrisy of it. It continues. Creators can also be subject to capping, a practice in which users take unauthorized screenshots or recordings and then share them elsewhere on the internet. OnlyFans creators have also received death and rape threats on social media. Well, I mean, that's like, I mean, you can't expect to, put stuff on the internet and not have it shared around. I mean, that's obvious. Like, obviously, once you put material online, that's, um, it's obvious that it can be shared around. I mean, and it will be. I mean, and there was actually a story, and I saw a story in Ireland where they're actually trying to make that illegal, and it is actually illegal. It's like copyright or whatever, but it's it's not like a prisonable offense. But I think in Ireland they were trying to bring in a law where this case was a case happened where some girl, got her OnlyFans content shared, and the girl, tried to, get it was one of these big stories where people were saying that people who shared that, what were they calling it? They were calling it what's it, revenge porn. And that's such a, that's such gone way too far. I mean, guys, like, people who've subscribed and share, yeah, sure, it's not like, you shouldn't do it, but well, you're paying for it, so actually, why should you not be able to do it? But calling it, something, trying to make it like a prisonable offense, like for guys to do that is like, it's gone so far across the line. Um, it's I don't know. It's just all the laws, everything is just leaning towards females all the time, trying to enable them to be able to do these things without any consequences whatsoever. Um, it continues. OnlyFans content creators can face not just professional content consequences, but personal ones too. Miss Exenberger has been keeping her account secret from her father, but knows he will find out now that she has gone public. I don't want to be shamed or disowned, she said. So, I mean, what is it like? What do you want? Like, I mean, that's what you're getting into. Like, accept it. I mean, you just want it both ways. I mean, how can you avoid? It's just looking for pity all the time, like a perpetual victim, even though they're the ones that are making these decisions. Um, he continues. Others say the experience has been empowering. Melanie Hall, a single mother of three, earns $13.30 an hour as a paramedic in northern Ohio, barely enough to cover her bills. She started an OnlyFans account in December. I'm a mom of three kids. I never thought anyone would pay to see me naked, Miss Hall, 27. It's been a confidence boost. She has made about 700 so far, not enough to change her life, but enough to make the holidays special. This is the first year I didn't have to choose between the electric bill and Christmas presents for my kids, she said. This is the first year I've been able to do it all by myself. I mean, yeah, fair play. You made some money. I mean, made some pocket money. You know, Personally, I have nothing against women that do it. I mean, it's just like, yeah, but it's the women that want it both ways. It's like that are doing it, and as you know, pretending that they've been like somehow forced into doing it by society and looking for sympathy and free. It's just they need to stop, understand that they need to accept responsibility for their own decisions and accept it, and stop looking for to be constantly you know looking to be the victim. I mean, you obviously, we all know that you did it. Women do it because it's an option. They think it's going to be easy money. It's not like they were forced into doing it. It's just that they heard stories that this girl made 60 grand in a couple of months. I can do that too, and they're just very entitled about thinking that they can make that money that easily without any effort. Um, Javier in the house says OnlyFans thoughts want benefits without consequences. 100%. They want the benefits without the consequences. They want to enjoy all the perks. They want praise all the time. they don't want to actually, put in the work and um, and actually, earn their money. They want to be equal to men. They want all the cushy jobs. They want all the office jobs. They don't want to be out laying bricks on the street. They don't want to be out cutting down deforesting, cutting down trees, doing all the dangerous jobs, climbing, building scaffolds, breaking their backs, putting up scaffolds day in, day out, cleaning the streets. The list goes on. Welders, you know, carpenters, people, men. We all know men build society. So, and we're the ones that break our backs doing these things. You know, but when are we going to get equality in all of that? I'm not going to be happy until there's 50% of bricklayers are women. That'll be, then we can talk. Yeah, then we can talk about victimhood. Um, you know, but like I said, it's all about just calling out hypocrisy, and it's not about like trying to, I'm not a Puritan that's like, oh my god, like these girls shouldn't be on these sites, selling themselves. No, I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, go, if these chicks want to do that, I'm not gonna stop them. I believe I'm a libertarian. I'm all about freedom. Do what you want to do, but don't be crying when crying to other people when you're upset with your decisions about your own life. You got to take responsibility for these chicks. Just have to take responsibility for their own actions, and no one forced them into do it. They know there's a market out there. They did it because they thought it's going to be easy money. um you know but I don't know, it's just that victim mentality. It's not going to go away because it gets them free attention and all that. But yeah, I don't know. That is tonight's episode. I'm gonna meet some hot chick tomorrow. I think, where's she from again? She is, I think she's like 21 years old. Met her on Bumble. But I will tell you guys how that goes. I'll see if she has an OnlyFans account. I'll let you guys know. So as usual, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna be back on Monday, and I will catch you guys then. So wherever you're at, have a good weekend. Peace out.